Hello, Silas here, and welcome to today's review. This time, it's time for Power Rangers Time Force Chrono Morpher. Released in the spring of 2001, Chrono Morpher is a toy based on the morphing device of the Power Rangers from the year 3001, Power Rangers Time Force. This sleek and futuristic morpher lets Time Force team assume the Ranger forms. This morpher has a really simple design that a friend of mine described as a futuristic egg, and I agree with that. It has a singular main screen made from clear plastic, 3 red buttons, and chromed logo of Power Rangers Time Force team. I think it was chromed. I bought mine Chrono Morpher used on TF Nation a few years ago, and as you can see, the kid that used to own it had a lot of fun. You also have this strap with the Time Force badge on it to mount the Morpher on your wrist. I think this is all that I can say about the design itself. Let's move on to the playability. To access that, you need to open up the battery compartment that's on the bottom of the Morpher. And this Morpher already gets a plus from me, since the battery cover and the strap mount are one piece, so you don't need to take out the strap to mount the batteries. Chrono Morpher works on 2 AAA batteries. After inserting the batteries and closing up the cover, we can turn on the Chrono Morpher with this button on the bottom part. After turning it on, it greets you with this generic sci-fi sound that kinda reminds me of the Back to the Future DeLorean. Alongside seeing all the LEDs inside pop out. Now the Morpher in its on mode will slowly cycle through, lighting up all of the LEDs, beeping every 10 seconds. Now, let's get into the functionality of the buttons. First we have the middle button, which is used for the transforming in the show. So, it's time for Time Force! Yeah, it's not that show accurate, but that's just how simple those earlier morphers were. Just some random lights and sounds. But there is some charm to that. The button on the left is supposed to be the button that summons Rangers' weapons. Button on the right is the communication button. This button is supposed to represent like a alarm sound or a communication. But for me this sounds more like a really pissed off alarm clock. And that's it! As I said, this is a really simple morpher. I don't have anything else to add about it. Maybe I can mention that in the Japanese version you get a small minigame where you need to press the middle button when the red light shows up and it slowly gets faster and faster. Maybe I'll also compare the Chrono Morpher to some other tokusatsu changes. Here is the Chrono Morpher next to the earlier reviewed G-Driver, Chrono Morpher next to the Kamen Rider Build Driver, Beast X Morpher from Power Rangers Beast Morphers, and my boy Max and Bumblebee. You know what, let's look at the Beast X Morpher a little more in the detail to compare it with the Chrono Morpher. Since both of them are Power Rangers Morphers that came with around 20 years of difference between each other, you can really see how the technology went forward with toy design. Beast X Morpher is much bigger, runs on AA batteries, has a much louder speaker, has a more complex gimmick with the whole key reading thing, a piece that moves with this glasses segment, and this really nice material strap instead of the plastic one. But I just want to show this as a comparison, since both morphers are really good for their times. So yeah, that's the Chrono Morpher. It's simple, but fun. If you manage to get it cheap, buy it. But sadly I don't think that's possible. Power Rangers Time Force is a really popular show, and my Morpher, even though it's really beaten up as you can see here, still cost me like £15 from what I remember. So, thank you all for watching, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out all my social media, support me on Coffee and tip donations, and don't forget, For a team named Time Force, they didn't do that much time travel. In the next review, it's time for me to go back to Cybertron, where I will hopefully get some Netflix famous clicks, since we'll be looking at Transformers Siege Jetfire. Bye!